Las Vegas, this is NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
Hey guys, we're at the Sony booth, and I'm sure you've heard me say that before. There's so much going on here at Sony. And this particular station where I am right now, been packed. We walked in and could barely make it by. And so we've got an opportunity to talk with Robert about what's going on here. Why is this such a crazy busy place?
Well, there's a lot of things going on that are new this year. The biggest thing is high dynamic range imaging is a huge issue, and there hasn't been a lot of information on it. So most people coming to NAB have been very hungry to try to figure out what it's all about. Does it have to be 4K? Does it have to be HD? Can I use my equipment now? What is the sauce for this? So a lot of our area, the camera area, this giant 21-foot monstrosity in front of us, and our display area have been created to try to answer a lot of questions about HDR. The other thing that's been of concern is 4K production without HDR. Do you have a new SuperMotion camera? What can I do with your old SuperMotion camera? So we've introduced a new camera called an HDC 4800, which is a 8 times SuperMotion camera system and a 16 times HD camera system. So truly the high end of sports, really bespoke equipment. And with that, we've introduced new storage to be able to work with that. So we've done some high-end football games with it in its testing phase. And the beauty of that camera is you've got a 4K palette, then you can take the HD from that 4K. So you get that second chance at a replay to get the best framing out of it. So it makes the cameramen look like heroes when it's actually the VTR replay guys who are doing the majority of the work. We introduced the HDC 4300 4K camera last year, which was our first 4K 2/3 inch camera, and that was done in response to, I want to shoot in 4K. 35 millimeter lenses are either great at the short end or great at the long end, but I can't get from one to the other. So I want to shoot with what I've always been shooting with, which are these 88s and 102 times lenses, but I want to put them on your 4K camera. And we underestimated, quite frankly, the market demand for this. So out of the gate, we had small shows like the US Open Golf Tournament, most of the playoffs in baseball. Coming into the NFL season, we had all 4 major networks adopt this camera. It's been absolutely fabulous for it. So the demand for a high frame rate as well as HD future pathing is really important to everybody. On this camera, at this NAB, we've introduced 2 things. One of them is a high dynamic range software package for it to bring the camera into the next era, and now we can do 2 times 4K. So we've got 8 times 4K, 60 times HD with our flagship camera. We've got 2 times 4K and 8 times HD with our secondary cameras. And then we've also added software and boards for our traditional HD cameras to give them new capabilities to take our existing customers into the future and get the best ROI. So usually, NABs of yours, the studio camera area was for the few, and there wasn't the curiosity, and camcorders were really the sexy thing.
Sure.
And it's really had a sea change now that everybody's looking at new plants, new infrastructures. How am I going to get a camera that's going to last for my 10-year depreciation period? I need to get the latest and greatest and throw that dart as far into the future as I possibly can. And that's what we're trying to provide.
It's incredible technology, and the richness in the HDR technology is mind-boggling. It just doesn't come through when you're watching a stream on the internet reporting about it. You've got to see it in person. So if you're in Las Vegas, make sure you come by the Sony booth and check this out. Incredible technology. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thanks for taking the time to come talk to us.
Guys, come by the Sony booth. Check out Sony at NAB Show Live.